How's it going? My name is Brent from ENCORE. This is a Tesla Model 3. Let's go ahead and put a computer cut kit on this rear bumper. It's cut out by ENCORE, or it's cut out by us, designed by ENCORE. Alright, so this is actually the first time that I've installed a kit on a rear bumper on a Tesla Model 3, so we're going to kind of both be learning as we go here. Just have to find a place to start, and I think that's going to be right here, and just get this light, or this reflector here, lined up real well. Alright, so I think that's a good starting point. We're lined up real well right here, and this line looks like it's going to line up real well. We are going to have to stretch just a little bit that way to get rid of these fingers, but let's first get this big stretch done. It's not that big, but it's a solid stretch. We just want to make sure that nothing's pre-tacking. I'm going to stretch to this tail light, or this marker light here. Okay, so we're going to stretch to here, we're going to stretch to that, and then we're also going to make sure that this stays nice and straight with the tail light here. And then we'll go ahead and squeegee down right here. Alright, then let's take care of the center section. This line here is looking fairly straight all the way across. We're just barely going past the bottom edge, which is fine because actually there is a tiny little lip on there that we can wrap down onto. Let's get this part down first. All right, now we're gonna go towards the center with all of this. Okay, then we'll take this down. Alright, let's put, let's get this lined up real good right there. Looks like it's going to take just a little bit of soapy, or I'm sorry, tack solution, and this, we'll come back and get that later. Let's get this part here stretched out. And first we want to make sure we're not pre-tacking. Let's pull all this back. All right, then what I'm gonna do is get myself a new stretch line. Okay, so let's line this up first and tack this down. Actually, this all lines up real good too. So what we're gonna do is tack like this section, and then we'll do our stretch into place. Okay, that looks good. And then we'll do a tiny stretch over to this corner, and we'll tack this down. Nice across the top edge. That's lined up real good. Now let's go ahead and do this stretch here. Looks like what we're gonna need to do now is gonna be like come this way and go like this a little bit. Okay, great. Yeah, this needs to come down to, I'm sure, this recess here. So let's go ahead and make it do that. All right, let's before we finish up here, let's go ahead and we can let that sit for a little bit. Let's take care of this area though. We're basically just going to take it out to right there. All right, easy peasy. Okay, now there's still quite a bit here that could wrap around. Let's see what we can do with that. And we need this to line up actually as well. So definitely going to be some stretch that way. Let's first take care of this and then we'll go back that direction. All right, let's retack this top part. Okay, I'm trying to see how much, I mean, do they want you to stretch it that much? Just trying to figure that out. That's why I released some of the tension there. All right, well that looks like they do want you to stretch that a little bit. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and stretch to like right in here. All right, let's see what we can do here now. So before we get this out, let's go ahead and stretch this, and then I think I'm just gonna be able to put my finger right here, squeegee the air out, and my finger right there will actually keep the air pocket from, first you trap it in there, then we'll squeegee it out, and then that should keep it from popping back up. Well, let's get this seam here lined up real good. Okay, make sure we're lined up good everywhere. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and squeegee this part out. All right, let's see what we can do now with this part. Oops, I keep going past. I want to stop my finger right there so this air doesn't come back in. Right there, beautiful. Just really checking in here to make sure that I get all the moisture out. And these type of recesses, you know, it can be difficult to get all the moisture out from time to time, and if you end up having to poke this with a needle to get the air out, you know, the material is usually pretty tight in there, so sometimes it will want to lift even after you've put it'll want to lift and suck air in through that hole from the needle. So, you know, it's not a great idea to be poking in those areas. I mean, not that you want to have to do that anywhere, but even worse in an area like that. Okay, feels like I got everything out. Go ahead and let's go ahead and get this part down, and then we'll go over and start that part, that side. Okay, let me get some tack solution here. All right. So whenever I'm tacking down fingers like this, I like to have as much of the edge free as possible. And then I'm going to take things down and just leave that edge unstuck. And then I'm going to come back and just get it closer and closer to that edge. And I'm going to do a little swipe and hold there. All right, so I know we've got a couple little fingers here. I'm going to go ahead and leave those for the moment. I know that we also have got some air in that line right there, and we'll go ahead and leave that for the moment as well. All this looks really good. I think I'll go ahead and take care of these spots here while we're here. So swipe and hold. I kind of wish they would have done like a line here and then just took it up a little bit higher on this, but I mean, that's definitely adequate because it gets over this edge. I mean, this one and this one are going to be where people hit it the most when they're dragging stuff in. So I'm glad at least they went over this edge. All right, we're going to try and do some different angles on this one. Get you in there a little bit closer. Another thing would have been not to squeegee over so far here, actually, because I'm a little bit off right here. So I need to readjust this. And so maybe I should have just squeegeed to like right here and then left all of this for the stretch here. All right, so again, let's see, we are gonna need to come down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and stretch to this point here, and then we'll stretch this way again. I don't think I'm gonna tack this top down because it looks like it's gonna need to adjust a little bit on this side. I really wish I hadn't squeegeed over so far here to this point. I wish I would have stayed about here. But I think, we're still gonna be in great shape. It's just, you know, in a perfect world. There was just a little bit of moisture trapped under there. And actually, I'm just gonna leave just a little bit hanging free, and we're gonna go ahead and try the stretch here. All right, so things that we need to do is get rid of some of these fingers. We need to come over, and then we need to come up. All right, let's check how we're doing here. All right, we're actually a little high right here, but that's gonna be fine. We'll just trim that off. We know that we're gonna be able to kind of get rid of those fingers here in a minute. And we might even, let's just see, if we peel this back up here, when we pull this up, we might be able to eliminate just a little bit of those. Yeah, I think that helped. Okay. All right, so just like the other side now, we're going to do some stretching on this corner here, down and around this edge. So let's make sure none of this is tacked down, and then we'll go ahead and stretch this into place. Okay, so that we're stretched up almost right to the edge. Go ahead and tack this down. And then since this edge is, you know, already pretty tight on the paint, we want to go ahead and squeegee all that out so we don't trap any moisture in there. Oop. Okay, great. All right, now let's get back over here and take care of all this. So we're gonna bring this to right here, and we're just gonna kind of keep an eye, make sure the top edge is lining up real well. All right, so this top part now is lined up really well. I'm gonna need a little bit more stretch, so I'm gonna put my finger here to make sure that I don't untack the part that's really good. And then we're gonna work our way down this stretch. And so what I can feel with my finger is whether I'm going over the edge or not. Okay, there we go. Hold that in place. We'll squeegee some of the rest of this out so it's tacked down. All right, now we got a really good edge, or a really good seam right there. I definitely think that stopping here would have alleviated a lot of these problems I'm having now. So squeegeeing maybe to like this point here would have been good enough, and then we could have dealt with the rest of this when we came back to it. Right now we need to stretch down to this edge. Go ahead and just get these down so that we don't have it dry or cure a little bit and leave a bunch of marks here where the fingers are. So we're gonna do swipe and hold. Great. Okay, that looks really good. Okay, now we're gonna get all this down. All right, because this air had been sitting in here, we just want to make sure and put some more soapy water in there so that it's not tacking. Now we need to stretch down to right here, just like we did on the other side. Perfect. Okay. And that did help. That even pulled this down, so this is right on the line now. That's great. Okay, so squeegee all this out. Come back to that with a little bit of tack solution. Let's go ahead and do this part again. So we're gonna go ahead and squeegee this out and then follow it right up with my finger. And then I'm gonna bring any little bits of moisture that are still tacked in there up out of that recess. And then we're gonna bring them out this above my finger. Okay, let's take these guys up. Okay, let's get a little bit more tack solution in there. Go ahead and push this out and follow it with our finger. And then let me see, let me get my towel. I'm gonna actually come right in behind with my finger with the towel on it and dry that out so there's no moisture on that edge. Moisture on the edge will definitely help it lift and bring the air and water back into that recess. So by drying that out, you help the finger or that area not pop back up. Like, so there's a little finger right here, and I'll show you on this next thing here where instead of just pushing it out, we can push it out with the towel, and once we dry that moisture out, it'll stop that from popping back up. There we go. Make sure everything's down on the edge here. All right, so this side was definitely a little bit more work. I think we would have been much better off, like I said, if I had not brought my first squeegee all the way so far this direction, if we kept it closer to this side. So do that. I think that'll work better. All right, so we'll go ahead and get this top down. Okay. So I'm just gonna slide chomp this. Dry out some of this moisture, make sure we got all of the slip solution or tack solution out from underneath the material. Let's go through, we need to get these areas down. So let's do those two right now. All right. some tack solution back in there, and then we'll squeegee this out. And we'll just hold that there for a second. All right, that's down. Before we go to the other side, we'll just touch up a couple of things here on this side. But there's a couple little fingers here. We're gonna hit those with some tack solution, same with this edge. And then we'll dry that edge out. Keep it from popping back up. All right, let's go ahead and wrap this around. All right, let's go over to the other side, do all the same things. Go ahead and squeegee this out. And then once I get it right to the edge there, I'll go ahead and hold it there for a second. And all that pressure from the tip of this squeegee is really gonna make that material tack down real fast right there. Okay, we'll go ahead and get rid of the moisture out of there. And a finger here. All right, we've got a little thing popping up right there. It's really minor. Put some tack solution in there. I'll move around to this one. All right. And then I already sprayed this down with some tack solution, so we're going to go ahead and wrap that in. Okay, that looks great. All right, well, that looks fantastic. Went on pretty well. I think if I tried these patterns on the rear bumpers a few more times, I could get that down a lot better. Awesome, well, I appreciate you taking a look. If you found that helpful at all, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.